Welcome back to Satisfactory. I've done quite a few things since the last episode, but none of it truly productive. Although I have been out in the wilds and collected many hard drives, so I've gathered quite a few alternate blueprints, but not the one I want, of course. So I'm going to have to go on more hard drive expeditions. So the alternate blueprints that I've gotten are turbo heavy fuel, cheap silica, Caterium computer, steeled frame, solid steel ingot, heavy modular frame, coated iron plate, Caterium circuit board, Caterium wire, and wet concrete. Now, I have one more in here, so well then. Plus 5 inventory slots. That's interesting that you can get that. But this one looks quite interesting. That's petroleum coke. That one is also quite interesting. Let's go with the heavy flexible frame though. And I believe that was the last hard drive I had. Yep, so it was. Okay, I've had a visitor who apparently logged out here. That would be Arakel. So I've made some new hypertubes so that I can quickly travel. I've got this one. Looking forward to when they fix the bug with the Blade Runners. This one takes me down to the coal power plants, which of course is quite useful. Also check the power network. Yeah, that's fine. Note how I've used lifted foundations to build these things on. That is very much on purpose. I can't wait until they add stackable hypertube conveyors, because having to build these outside of the base like this is actually well, it's scenic, I'll give it that, but it is a bit annoying that you have to do all these finagling. Here is the new smelter that we're going to come back to. Now this takes us to, this is kind of a transit point. So this one goes to the steel outpost, which is also producing silica and quartz crystals. Oop. So I did build this steel outpost in the last episode, and the results are that I have 8 of these making steel pipes and 4 of these making steel beams, which will help immensely with making more steel products that require beams, for instance like encased industrial beams, and also the products that require pipes. Up here we have 14.67 constructors making silica. With our current belt technology I can't really use that, but I found this little nifty thing of doing injection with a merger between 2 splitters in my belt here, so that I could use both belts. And over here I have 4 constructors where I'm making the quartz crystals. This should suffice for our needs for crystal oscillators for now. And if it doesn't, well then we'll just have to get more quartz or make less silica. When the game lags like that, by the way, it's because of the autosave I've managed to to use all by myself. And the other hyper tube, of course, as you probably already have figured, is going out to the refinery outpost. I should clean up that stuff up there. Now, they released a rather substantial patch. They released multiple substantial patches. But the one they released today has changed a great deal of the alternate recipes, making them more balanced, or at least trying to make them more balanced. I don't know if they've succeeded at that. But I've been wondering about some of those alternate recipes, because some of them have just seemed bizarre to me, as opposed to how it used to be. I haven't changed anything out here, and I'm not using the plastic or the rubber yet, so I'm not even belting them into the main base, which I should do. Probably do that on the other pillars. But for now, the most important thing that we should do is finish up the smelting array for iron. Apparently they've also fixed some of the respawn issues with the wasps, because that nest down there isn't there. And I think I killed that when I was driving around here. I should get the car though. I've measured that it's possible to get the car below that. Or truck rather than car, I should say. Here we are. I think I have most of what I need in here combined with here. Yep, that looks good. These conveyors are just measuring devices that I'm using for now. They will be removed when I am at the point where I feel I don't no longer need them. I can park here. The first thing we need to do is connect power to these mines. Now that pole seems to be perfectly aligned to building a pole there. I think we can build a power pole corner here. And since it's on that corner, we can also build a power pole there. Nah. Let's build it there. Then connect the power line down there. And this one to this one. That. Gonna start the mines yet. That's curious. So we can also build a power pole here and connect it up to that one. I I think we can just start these 3 mines. So we have 1 mine there and 1 mine here. Let's start this one. Let's also start that one and that one. We have 6. These are on normal nodes, so they're outputting 120 each per minute. Which means I can fill 3 belts up to 240, which will support 8 smelters. I haven't powered these things yet, so let's do that. Sometimes those boots are a little bit too efficient. Do I need that pole? I don't think so. Oh. So the iron is coming in slowly. I haven't configured these smelters yet, so not much is going to happen there. Is connected. Now I can configure these. Make iron ingots, please. And then we have to go up 1 floor. In lack of having windows, I've just used some conveyor thingies to make it appear that I have windows. Let's build a power pole Mark II here and connect that to that one. Come on. Then we have to go through the same process up here, just building some power poles. Why, oh why can't I just hit the thing? Bounce. Oh, I actually hit it. Wow. Are connected, so that's fine. And then we have to configure them. There we go. Oops. Now we have to go up to the top floor and repeat this thing here. I apologize for any motion sickness involved in this. There we go. Did it again. I couldn't do that one. And bounce. They should all be working, so all we have to do now is set these to make iron ingots as well. Now I haven't decided where I want this to come down, so that's something that I should figure out. I'm guessing having it come down at the very edge here. Yep, I think that's a good idea. So let's build some mergers. Not too close. No, that's fine. Excellent. I'm not doing my creative lift system on this specific build because there is no point as far as I can tell. Okay, let's just connect up these. And I'm just going to use Mark III belts between every one of these splitters, or mergers, because why not? Then connect that to this one. Now we need to drop down a few floors. Bounce, bounce. So that one's going to come down there. This one we can let... Actually, that's going to be inconvenient because it requires some very creative belt work. So instead of doing it like that, I'll just make it come down here. Which means, of course, that this merger needs to be pointing forwards. That's wrong, I think. Didn't see the green line there, so it might have been there, but I didn't see it. So let's connect up the mergers. Apparently I was a bit more liberal with spacing on these. Not that it matters, since I'm not going to have anything else up here except for the smelters. Okay, let's do Mark III belts. Then connect that to this one. Now we can just jump down. Right, so we have two lifts. With iron ingots coming down from there. Okay, so on these ones I'm going to do the lift system. 1, 2, 3. I just need to place the lift so that I know where it comes down. Comes down on that one. Okay, so that means that I want to have this one pointing forwards. It's almost predictable which way they will go. Of course, they won't go the way that I want them to go, but it is predictable. Oh, need one more on each of these. Off you go. And we can connect them up to one another. And then we just need to make some conveyor lifts. Connect those to the mergers. Come on. Can actually just double click on these because they automatically go where I want them to go. Now, I would like these to come at roughly the same place, so that was wrong. No, I do not want to deconstruct the lift. Actually, I will have to deconstruct the lift, but not yet. So I probably need to move the truck. One thing that I do know that I'm going to want to do is to have these things do I want them on the same level? I think I do, because that's just going to make it simpler for me to two, three, four. Just going to test something real quick. 2, 3, 4. Does that interfere with the hypertube? That's my big question now. Come on. Yep, it goes right through it. So that's can't be that high. Then 1, 2, and 3. And 1, 2, and 3. I'm not entirely sure how I want to make these come into the same belt. Not belt, but same conveyor stack. But I think I want them to come in on a stack here. Which then means that hypertube is creating some difficulties for me. Guess I'll just have to do it over here instead. So that should be fine. Let's connect them up like that. Nope. Then I think that should be enough. Connect this up to there, this one to that one, and this one to that one. And now for the actual planning here. The thing here is we want to have 2, 3, 4, 5. I believe this should make a perfect bend. Yep. And I think that no matter what I do, I'm going to run into some problems here. So what I should do is actually remove this and this. Let's climb up on this so I can darn boots. You're too effective, Caterian boots. Thank you. I think that is correct. It isn't. One, two. That should be correct. Yes. Now this should also make a perfect bend. So dark. Instead of having this go up at this point, we want to have it come up at a later point. It's not an area that I'm going to frequent very often anyways, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I hope that is far enough away. No, it's not. Okay, let's test something here. If I make a lift here, okay, so that'll work. We can remove this and the belt. I think we can remove that one as well. And of course I forgot to place the belt first. I don't think I need it to be 5. 4 should suffice. Then a conveyor lift here. And a Mark III belt. That. Okay, now we have 3 belts of iron coming there, and they are all saturated Mark III. Or at least almost saturated. So, let's just place down one manufacturer. I'm missing some heavy modular frames for that. Let's go back to HQ. There we go, and I need heavy modular frames, tactical board cubes as I like to call them, and let's build a manufacturer. Oh, these things are immense. I don't think they've retextured them as well, so we can actually watch the construction thing instead of being inside of a glass. That's nice. Okay, so we have 3 different recipes for heavy modular frames. This one requires 75 rubber per minute, 390 screws per minute. That is not good. The default one requires 10 modular frames, 30 steel pipes, 10 encased industrial beams, and 200 screws per minute for 2 parts. That's not exactly very good. The heavy encased frame makes 2.8 parts. Those are some very weird numbers. This one creates 3.8 parts per minute, so I'm guessing this one is more resource effective. Apparently we will be running with the default one. Means that I need to have a look at my spreadsheet to take a quick look at what I'm producing in terms of modular frames. I'm producing 8. And to create modular frames, we need reinforced iron plates. So here comes the interesting part. The reinforced iron plate default recipe creates 5 parts per minute. And with our... we have the modular frame. This one, we would need 5 of them. The bolted iron plate, we would only need 1. We would need 250 screws per minute, as opposed to 180 screws per minute, 90 iron plates, So the only benefit here, if I'm not being completely haywire, 3 of these, 180, 90, or 1 of these, 90, 250. But this is actually more expensive. A stitched iron plate? Now that doesn't make sense. I don't think we can use that because I'm not producing that many steel pipes currently. I'm producing 160 steel pipes that we can use. But I have no idea which one would be the better one for my current setup. 3 parts per minute. Or 2 parts per minute. So 5 of them to 1 of these. And then we would require 15 reinforced iron plates. So that would be 3 of these. As for the encased industrial beams, we have the regular ones. We would need 2 of those. We already have 2 of those, so I can just take them out from the mall. This one takes 4 parts per minute out of steel pipe and concrete. So I would say that it's a little inferior. Screws are very straightforward. I would probably just use the casted screws or cast screws. So we would need 4 for this one. And a whole bunch of them for these. 4 more for these ones. I don't think we need more than 1 of these currently. Although making 2 per minute. This one will require 1 per minute. That's fine. Computers do not require them. It also go with the Caledorn computer, which 3.8 parts per minute as opposed to 2.5 parts per minute. And it would give us something to use rubber on. We also need the high-speed connectors though, which also requires quick wires, so that means I need another Caledorn node. Because currently we have how much quick wire are we using down here? Currently we're not using anything because this is shut down, but we're using 75 per minute. Input that into my spreadsheet. I think that we only have that one producing that, so yep. Well, I will plan out this in between the episodes, see how many I need of each machine and so forth, and see how the belts align do that. Can we produce crystal oscillators in these machines? No, I can't create them yet. There's also these circuit boards. Requires copper sheets and plastic. We then have the oh wow, 8.8 parts per minute. This one is definitely more efficient. $30 plastic per minute as opposed to 12.5. I'll probably go with that, depending on whether or not I can get a secondary also got this one. If I get another is 7.5 per minute. That means that I can do each copper foundry or smelter produces 30. 5 of them produces 150, and 150 divided by 37.5 is 4. So if I have 5 copper smelters, I can support 4 of these. And it also requires 7.5 caterium ingots. Per minute, which means that I need 30 of those, which is it 2 smelters? Yep, it's 2 caterium smelters. That's also a distinct possibility. I'll get 180 fused quickwire out of that. But is that actually any better than the regular quickwire recipe? I'm not sure it is. It's 60 for 12. This requires an additional level of smelting where I would have to go find a copper node and make another smelting array for that, whereas this one just requires a caterium node, and I can put up 5 smelters on a Mark III belt. And the 2 main things that I need now are the tactical Borg cubes and computers, so that I can get the Mark IV belts that can transport up to 480 resources per minute, which will massively change all of my planning. I should just get those up as quickly as possible. Now for the computers, I had 2 recipes for those as well. I'll just use this one. Means I need to make circuit boards as well. Yeah, I should definitely get another caterium node. Although I might just use this 2 of these. That is 15. So it's enough to support 1 of these. But it isn't enough to support. What? 7.5. That's not good at all. Okay, so I need to make more plastic out at the refinery. Well, I have my work laid out for me, that's for sure. So we'll see how far I get, and I'll see where I am in the next episode. So for now, thank you so very much for joining me, and I will see you all then.